Hi there. Hi. So, thanks for joining me on this decision making lie. Now, you might be wondering, why do we need to be taught or told about decision making? Because all of us make decision every day. Do you know how many decisions we make every day? Guess. I'm pretty sure you would be far, far away from the correct answer. The correct answer, and yes, scientists have spent time in finding out how many decisions average person makes. 35,000. Yes, 35,000. I'm sure you are surprised. You must be surprised, as I was when I heard it for the first time. But we don't know that how many decisions we make are unconscious. We don't consciously know, aware of uh, that decision we made. Like, for example, when we feel thirsty, we drink water. Now, drinking water when we feel thirsty is a decision, but we make it. And there are so many decisions we make every day, every day. Very few decisions are conscious. I would say about 20%. So 80% decisions are unconscious or subconscious. So if you are asked, how do you make decision? Most of the people say, oh, we take, information, we just pros and cons, and then we make a decision. Not most of the time. That is very, very rare. So there is an interesting mnemonics. If someone asks, how do we make decision? It is AIR, AIR. A for analytical, that is conscious thinking, mulling over pros, cons, which one is good and which one isn't. Then I is for intuition, that is subconscious. Now, intuition, we call it gut feeling, sixth sense, habit, matter of practice, work, experience, and all those things. And R is routine or rule based. That suppose if we reach signal and the signal is red, we stop. When the light is green, we move. So that is rule based. And there are so many routine decisions that just have it. Like when we are going to driving to work, we don't have to remember the way. We take a right turn, left turn, uh, and that is just routine thing. So AIR, but many times the complex decisions, very important decisions, we combine these three. But the problem is we don't know how to combine, how far we should spend in mulling over, debating pros and cons, and how far we should make it unconscious, subconsciously as a matter of practice. That's the problem. And we don't know how we take intuitive decision and we make it. Sometimes we make the right decisions, but sometimes we're wrong. And that's where there is a need to learn about how to make better decision. And how you make the better decision, there is something called as metacognition. I know it's a jargon word. You may not have heard about it, but I'm going to tell you it is a very, very simple thing. Although it is a complex, it is a jargon word. I'm going to make it very simple and I'm going to tell you how to improve your decision by metacognition. Now, decision, we make it every day for all sort of things, but for this one we're going to choose the decisions that are related to your work, about your career, about your learning, passing exams, and all those things. And I'll tell you in what capacity I'm going to do this. I'm a surgeon and psychiatrist, very unusual combination. uh, I will tell you how I became both, but primarily I'm a surgeon, and I've been a surgeon in India, UK, and USA. Currently, I'm based in UK, uh, and as a surgeon, we do need to make correct decisions, and surgeons are known to be very decisive. And after I became a psychiatrist, I realized that how important decision making is, and even some expert surgeons make a wrong decision. And that's where I decided that I need to teach surgeons to make better decisions. And for last 20 years, I have been teaching surgeons to make better decisions. I have written books which have been received award by British Medical Association, and now I'm in a position to deliver that experience to wider public, to everyone. So whatever I'm going to say about decision making, it is going to be useful for everyone, for all your life situation, but mostly for work related or career related or study related. Right. So the main thing is, how do we make better decision accurately, comfortably, without stress, and improve the quality of decision making? Why? Because that is the most important thing that is in your career, and we don't know about it. Now, I will give you one practical. I'm going to ask you some practical question, and let me see whether you agree with me or not. Now, when we are in primary school, you must have seen some boys and girls at the top. They are the shining stars of the class. Then, when we go to secondary school, there are again toppers, but most likely they're different than those who were in primary. Same thing happens in college. Those who are toppers in college, not necessarily they have been toppers in primary school or secondary school. And then when we go into the actual workforce, There are different people that they earn a lot of money, fame, become popular, and become very expert in their field. And very, very likely that they may not be as good as they are in their career as they were in school or college. Of course, there are few people who are top all throughout, but most of them, they the toppers are different in different stages. Why? It is because the decision making. What happens is that those who are good in academics when we are learning, they are at top because their memory is good, they are motivated, they're hardworking, they study a lot. But that doesn't take you far enough in actual work. Yes, knowledge is important. Where you are, I mean, how, what are your resources, where you come from, all this is important. But most important thing is decision making. And when I do see people who flourish in their career, those people who envy them, have jealousy about them, say, oh, he's just lucky, or he got pull and all this contacts and all this thing. We don't value their success. We don't find the reason why they're successful. But I can tell you my decades of experience, observation, and personal experience to say that decision making is the most important thing that makes people successful in their lives, especially in their career. And we are not taught about it. I'll tell you some stories about how there is a science called as decision science and how they're studying how expert people make good decisions. Now, this is a true story, and there is a scientist who shared his story. Is about firefighters. He chose firefighters for his research because firefighters need to make split-second decision, and it is life and death decision, like surgeons. So he was observing, and the firefighter was in New York were asked to manage a fire in a single story house. So they saw the fire on the backside of a first floor. First floor. So they went to the uh, room in front of that on the first floor and started dousing the fire with the water. So first go, the fire roared back at them. Instead of getting less, it became worse. Okay, so the commander ordered to try give another shot, another sort of bout of water cannons and forceful water. Same thing. Instead of getting control, it roared back. Oh, okay. So the commander thought. He thought for a few seconds and he immediately ordered the crew to leave that building. The crew were a bit puzzled. I mean, we just came in, we just started controlling the fire, and the commander is ordering us to leave the house. Okay, but he's a boss. So they left. As soon as they came out of the house, the floor, the room in which they were all standing and trying to control the fire, the floor on which they were standing collapsed to the ground floor. If the commander didn't have ordered them to leave that room or house, all of them would have plunged into the fire and all of them may have died. So they were lucky. Not lucky, the commander was smart with his decision making. So after all this thing happened, the scientist, the psychologist who was researching with them asked him, why did you make that decision? What made you think that it was a dangerous place to be and you asked the crew to leave that room? He said, he shrugged his shoulder and said, I just did. I thought it's my gut feeling. Okay. But being a scientist, he didn't it, he didn't leave that conversation there. Over the time, he made assessment, spoke to that commander, went through the data, and find out the real thing was the fire was just beneath the room where the crew was standing. So it was on the ground floor, and the fire was it traveled because of the some space there. It traveled to the the room behind them. So it didn't, the dousing of the that fire didn't work because the source of the fire was down below. And what happened is that the room that they were standing was unusually warm, and it was very quiet, because if the fire was nearby and the heat was because of that fire, it would have been very noisy. So these contradictory things were picked up by the commander's brain, unconscious brain, and he thought that there is something wrong. So he asked, but he consciously didn't know. That's how the intuition works. That our intuition picks up some information which is not conscious, it processes the information and makes the decision. Now, in this case, the decision was right, but many times the decision goes wrong because we didn't pick up that information, we pick up wrong information, we conclude in the wrong way. And that is where this metacognition comes into play. Metacognition helps us to analyze whether the information we used is correct or not. Now, you would ask, what is this metacognition? So, cognition is thinking, and meta is thinking about thinking. Yes, we all think about ourselves. Now, imagine you have been asked a question, important questions, and you have been asked again, are you sure that this is the right answer? And then you think in your mind, okay, this is the information, this is the questions that we have been asked, and this is could it be right or could it be wrong? When you think about this, that is what metacognition is. And when we assess our information, our thinking, that gives us good insight about this decision. I will come to you later how it helps, but let me give you another example which we all see on the TV channels. You must have been watching the Kaun Banega Crorepati or some other who wants to be millionaire kind of thing in the UK. In that it is a quiz contest, and in that, especially the last session when there is a final prize, crores of prize, the contestant is asked question, and when he answers, the here in India it is Amitabh Bachchan asks, is this the final answer? It is a very, very, very tricky question, because there are 3 4 possibilities that could happen. Either the contestant is sure and he says yes and he wins the prize. The other possibility would be the answer is wrong, but the contestant feels or thinks that he's right and he loses the money. Third option is usually they're asked, then they're not sure, so they stop and they take the money. Now, fourth possibility is that, and usually when the contestant withdraws the money and he takes the whatever money and don't answer the question, they're asked, okay, you have withdrawn the money, you have paused, but if you were forced to answer, what would have been your answer? Now, in that situation, sometimes it happens that the contestant did know the answer, but he chickened out. He thought that he would rather be safe and this thing. So he lost the money just because he didn't do correct metacognition. And fourthly, if he was wrong, then it was the right decision. So what I'm saying is that when the contestant is asked, is this the right question? And what goes on in his or her mind is metacognition. So they usually think, okay, how sure I am, how certain I am, whether to take a chance, whether to take a risk or not. All this, whatever goes on in the mind of the contestant at that time, is all metacognition. So, how to learn better metacognition and how to use that better metacognition to improving the decision is the thing that you would be learning from this sessions on this decision making live. Now, I would encourage you to ask questions, personal questions, any queries. If you find anything that you didn't understand, you can challenge me as well. If you think that whatever I'm saying or giving information about, you don't agree with, say so, and we will have interesting discussion and sharing of knowledge about it. So that is it for today as far as the information is concerned. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Citrus, any question? I was keen for you to attend today because you ask very interesting questions. Okay. Uh, I'm just thinking, uh, what should I give you some exercise about? Yeah. Oh, Citrus has gone. Okay. Okay. So it is just us as usual. Okay. Maybe because he felt it was the repetitive information. It was the same information that I used in short, uh, the vertical lie. Oh, okay. Mm, so making a thumbnail, doesn't it make difference? Because what I remember Sudo said is that because we can make thumbnail for horizontal, so it would be more noticeable. Mm, so we need to think about ways to get noticed. Hmm. Hmm. Quite easy is that way. Okay. Lives work quite differently. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So we need to find out same audience. Hmm. So how to do? There's so much of a crowding everywhere. We thought initially that when we started initially, it was novelty. So I was quite enthusiastic, and initially the response was even with the oh my goodness. Oh, okay, okay, right. I think I'm thinking that it need to be made more trendy. It seems that I don't know whether do you think that whatever I've said today, I think I was reasonably conversational. Do you think it was a bit boring and people would like to have more casual approach? I don't know. Uh, but all those, I have seen people talking very casually, but I find it quite superficial and doesn't help. So what I might do, and are there any live streams on this topic? I would love to. I mean, I doubt whether there will be, but uh, okay, because I'm prepared with more of an interactive thing. I'm just giving lecture. It it doesn't make any interaction interesting. So I don't know how to get more audience by advertisements. Because I think at least there should be 10, 15 people interested. Then it becomes very interesting, the conversation. Me just giving lectures like PowerPoint, it doesn't work. So we need to find out at least 10, 15 people that who would really attend with genuine intention. So we need to find out what are the weights. So if no one else is likely to come, it is just 8 minutes left. Uh, Achal, I must say you are a good motivator for me. I'm talking about this second last comment. Your sessions are really good. So your channel is still in discovery phase. Not every day everyone will attend live. Yeah. So what to do? Because mine is mostly interactive. Thing. How to get the people? I'm feeling like these politicians. They pay money to attend the their campaign thing. But honestly, Achal, I enjoy that when I do with these sessions with surgeon. The kind of interaction I get, it is very interesting and interactive. Oh, okay. But they must be monitoring how many people are. I mean, even though one may be trying, but after all, YouTube is interested in a number of eyeballs. So if no one is watching, why would they be okay? I mean, they may be saying yes, you are working hard, but the work isn't of interest to people, so they may not take that much seriously. So I think at least 10, 15. So we need to think about how to gather people. At least 10, 15. I'm not expecting more than that. At least 10, 15 would be a reasonable number to. I'm not expecting hundreds of people, but anyway, let's try. But Achal, you know that AI, the Gemini thing I sent to you, uh, you may find out more on other platforms as well because that was from Gemini. Okay. Okay. Yes, it's hard work. It is really hard work. I didn't expect it to be so hard. I don't know whether what it is. It is too many people are, the luckiest or the smart people are the one who started in COVID, because in COVID people didn't have much else to do, so they were glued to all these social media, and that's where I think YouTube made a lot of money. Yeah. But think about something smart to at least get to 10, 15 people and genuinely interested. I would love to have. Okay, so lastly, actually, you tell me some question that you would like, some decision that not guaranteed every day. Oh, okay. Okay. Just for people to have at least conversation. Now, in that case, you ask me some decision thing. Oh, but it's just 4 minutes left. So give me some situation for me to advise about decision. What we did discuss about the leaving the job. How about any other? I mean, you might have heard about your friend. They're having difficulty in make a decision. think about it, or if you don't remember straight away. Oh, how about we talking about our difficulty in this, about this YouTube channel? What is the decision that we found difficult and how we made the decision and whether it was the right decision or wrong? Okay, now talking about, I must give credit to you that you have been here. I mean, these shorts and all. A short, okay. About the timing, I mean, do you think that we were getting better response in a bit earlier period because, or is it too early? Anyway, we'll close the session now. There is, okay, so we'll do the vertical live session tomorrow. And yeah, yeah, okay. Bye bye. Good night.